Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a little unboxing, we'll call it, for you today. These are a couple new items to the By the Well for God shop. This is the Easter Mega Pack. This little pack comes with all of these pieces of ephemera. You have some little bunnies and some little birds and some couple little sheep in there. And this is just the little ephemera. It comes in that glassine envelope. Save your envelope. You can always use that in a journal or on your Bible page. It also comes with these mini index cards, which are just in these beautiful neutral colors. There's kind of a pale yellow and a pale blue, and they're just beautiful. I am so in love with these pieces. I did check, there are some still in stock. I will put my affiliate link down below. Thank you to those of you who use that. It really does help me out. Also in here you have these I think they're 3x3 cards. Some of them are blank and then others have scriptures on them as well. So you could dive into studying those out if you wanted to. There's also some little file folders. These are the mini file folders, which I love. And I love the pattern on these file folders. They, especially because you can kind of use them in different directions. So a lot of times I actually put these in my journals and I put them vertically instead of horizontally. So I love the fact that the pattern can be turned and then they have it so that it's right side up on the front side. And then the inside of these are just that kind of distressed neutral color, and they're just absolutely beautiful. So I love all of the kind of visual texture that they bring. They're lovely. And then you also get 4 sheets of stickers. These are clear stickers. So you get 2 each of 2 designs. You have the little birds and then you have the animals, and then a sheet of tile alphas in that kind of distressy looking thing. And you could use those, to create a focal image on those blank cards. You could spell out a word or a verse reference or whatever. Just a lot of fun. So again, this is the Easter Mega Pack. I think it's like $13, $14, something like that in the shop. And then the thing I'm most excited about is this paper pack. This is going to be a shop classic. And so hopefully we'll be able to get it all the time, because I foresee using this kit a ton, because it's just beautiful neutrals that kind of look like they have this mixed media kind of texture to them. There's a lot of like layers and just, some have text in them and just beautiful. And then the backside is just a really kind of distressed look. And so I was so inspired by this, which is actually kind of the point of this video. I wasn't really going to do an unboxing of this necessarily, but I decided that I just want to create a journal with these really quickly. And so I'm doing this part really quickly so that I can move on to the journal, because I love these papers so much. They are just stunning in person. They're even better than what my camera is showing. So we've been wanting kind of a neutral paper pack for a while. And so we are really excited about this one. So I'm going to do a little bit of a journal. I'm not going to decorate it fully. I'm just going to kind of create the structure of it. And then let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see a part 2 where I actually go back through and like fill the pockets and do all of that kind of stuff. But off camera, I went ahead and grabbed some papers from my stash. I have some coffee dyed. I have some printed vellum that just has like a gold foiling on it. I have some book page in there, just a few different things. It's not a super large journal. I just wanted to create something really quickly. This would be something good for if you were just wanting to maybe do a study for Easter specifically, or if you're wanting to do a prayer journal or some scripture memorization or just some personal memory keeping, whatever you want to do, just keep kind of doing a real neutral journal. So I have this chipboard and it is black. It's pretty heavy duty. And so that is what I'm going to use. I already cut that down to size off camera because I just didn't feel like you needed to see me do that. I've done it a million times on my channel before. And then I have this fabric as well that was in my stash. And so I cut that down a little bit larger than what my chipboard cover is going to be. And I'm using Fabri-Tac, and I'm just kind of holding this in place really. I did not even go all the way to the edge with this because I am going to do some stitching on my sewing machine with it. And I really actually like how this kind of black chipboard just kind of works with this paper and with this fabric. So I did leave it overhanging a lot. I used the salvage edge on that one side because I really love that kind of frayed look to that. And then I'm just going to go around and sort of trim this down because I did cut it a little bit too large, but I wanted to be able to straighten it up pretty, evenly. So I'm just using the steel edge part of my Tim Holtz ruler and a rotary cutter and trimming that down. I did leave like maybe a 1/16 of an inch overhang on that because I'm hoping that it will fray some more and just give it a really junk journal kind of vibe. I went around a couple times with some really messy stitching with a black thread, and I really like how that looked. And I'm going to use a couple of the pages that I did not actually use in the journal because these were the only two that really were more directional than the others. Because of the florals on there. Some of the other ones had, text and stuff, but I don't really mind if my text is, upside down or sideways or whatever for the background of a page. But for the focal images, I didn't want to have the flowers kind of being off, to the side. So I took these 2 pages, and I will do my front and back covers, like the inner pages, the same, but I decided to do them different in this journal. So I just used my pencil and marked where I needed to trim those down so that I could fit them inside my cover. And I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive. This is the scrapbook.com version. You could use score tape or whatever. It just is a good way to easily cover these, and it's a really strong adhesive, so I know that these are not going to go anywhere. I'm leaving just a little bit of a border of black from that chipboard around here, so I did take that into account when I was trimming it down. And then I'm going to pull back the release papers on here, and I'm actually just going to pull them back about halfway to kind of create some little flags that I can kind of hold on to, some little wings. This just helps me be able to put this down in position because there's adhesive all over the entire back of this card. It's very sticky, and so I just want to make sure that I can get it in the right spot, that I'm not overlapping the fold of the cover, or getting it down too far down, or making sure everything is just lined up. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this backside, and this is also, I'm making sure to go over the top of the stitching, and that's just going to hold everything in place. And then I'm going to come around now that everything is kind of in place and situated, and I'm going to come back with my Fabri-Tac and do the up to the very edge of the chipboard that I'm using, and then I will just make sure and press that down. I did get a little bit that was leaking over the edge, so I just wiped that up really quickly, and my cover is good to go. I could technically put something down the center, but I'm fine with it. My signature is going to hold, is going to go right down in the middle, and because it's just plain black, I don't feel like it detracts from anything. So, but you could certainly add another piece if you wanted to. So I've pulled out all of my journal supplies here. I'm going through my signature now and just kind of making sure that all the papers are where I want them. I have them sort of staggered, some up at the, of those shorter pages that are up at the top, some of them that are kind of down at the bottom, just making sure everything's lined up. And then I'm lining this up in the cover, and I'm using a book cradle. If you don't have a book cradle, you could just use an old book kind of opened down in the center and just kind of poke straight down. I have a heavy duty awl that I'm using, and I don't think I pressed hard enough, so I'm going to have to go back through and do those holes again. And then I'm going to put it kind of as a placeholder in that one hole just to keep everything in place, because my clips are on the signature, but they're not on the cover, and I want to make sure everything stays lined up. So I am using a black waxed linen thread. You trim it to about 2.5 to 3 times the length of the journal that you're doing. And so I started from the inside, I'm going to the outer cover, and then I'll go back in through that top hole and just kind of lining that up, and then go back down through back into the center, and then go down to the bottom hole. And for some reason, I always struggle with this when I'm on camera, but it's easier when I'm not being filmed. Anyway, and then you can see I didn't really make my holes big enough, so I'm kind of struggling with this. This is, like I said, some really thick chipboard that I'm using here. And then so now I'm on the outside cover. I'm going to come back into that middle, and just be careful. I say this all the time, but be careful you don't split your thread when you do that. And then with one tail on either side of that long piece down the center, you just I always tie a square knot here, and then I trim it. I keep mine kind of long. That's personal preference. You could certainly trim it right up to the knot if you wanted to. But then I just am going to tie a bow for the center, and then pull my clips off, and everything is basically finished. And then I decided I wanted to add a little bit over the spine. The stitching was fine. It lined up and everything was okay, but I just thought this would add just a little bit of extra interest to my journal cover. So I had this gray thread or gray fabric in my stash as well. And I like that it's kind of already starting to fray and everything. I have threads everywhere. But I'm just going to use some cocoina glue. This is the same glue that I use when I'm covering the mini Bibles. And so this is just going to hold this piece in place. It's not a structure. It's really more just a decorative element. So I'm not worried about it going anywhere. But that cocoina glue is it's good for this. Like I said, I'd use it for covering my little pocket Bibles. So I am going to go around though with the edge and add a little layer of Fabri-Tac right up at the edge, because I don't want this fabric to fray too much. So I was afraid it would keep pulling apart if I just only had the cocoina glue there. So I feel like just as a little layer of security, I'm adding that that Fabri-Tac line just kind of down the very edge along there. And then that will hold everything in place. And that will basically be the cover. I may or may not come back and add a closure. I haven't quite decided on that yet. We'll see how chunky this one gets. But I did have a couple pieces of that paper from those end papers that I used. And so I'm just going to quickly create a couple little tuck spots in the journal itself with these pieces, because I just don't want to throw them away or get rid of them. So they'll just create some little tuck spots on here. All the pockets and stuff I'm going to show on here are these two little strips. I will come back and probably do another video. Let me know if that's something that you would like to see, where I go through and actually fill in this journal, make some pockets, make some tuck spots, and then do some decorative elements as well. But I just wanted to create the structure of this journal. I'm going to do a real quick flip through so you can kind of see the papers and stuff that I have going on in here, and just how quickly you can make a journal with these beautiful papers. So if you liked this video, I really would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll just do the rest of this little flip through, and that will be the end of this for me. Like I said, I will put the affiliate link down below. There are still some of these paper packs available. And thank you again if you use that link. I really appreciate it. And until next time, bye.